I know the video title of this is called Who's the Nicest MC? Tupac or Tretch, or Tretch or Tupac. But I'm going to keep it real. Tretch is one of my favorite rappers. He's in my top 20. Probably in my top 10. Very underrated, and I don't think he get enough props. So this video is just actually a segue into just highlighting my man Tretch. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But I'm gonna break down a few things between Tupac and Tretch. But still in all, just to give flowers to my nigga Tretch. Because a lot of people think Tretch and Tupac had a falling out when they didn't. Naughty by Nature and TupacWasLyrical debuted in the year of 1991. OPP came out in the summer of 1991. Trap came out in the early fall or in the summer of 1991. Those were the first singles from their debut albums. Trap was a dope song. Trap is the song that made me a Tupac fan. A day one Tupac fan. Although Tupac technically debuted in 1990, before Tretch even debuted on the song Same Song. But in 1991, Tupac released Trap, which came out in September, a month after OPP. OPP was straight burning the charts, bro. Their second single by Naughty by Nature was Everything's Gonna Be Alright. Tupac's second single was Brenda's Got a Baby. Brenda's Got a Baby came out in October. Everything's Gonna Be Alright. It came out in November. The third single by Naughty by Nature was Uptown Anthem, which came out in 1992. And the funny thing is, when I bought the debut album of Naughty by Nature, this song wasn't on there. This song was on the Juice soundtrack. I guess they added this song to their album, maybe to help sell records. In 1992, Tupac released If My Homies Call. Now, Trap was definitely a great song, a great introduction. Brenda's Got a Baby was probably the biggest record on TupacWasLyrical now. If My Homies Call might have been the second biggest record on there. OPP, that was a gigantic record. That's a classic, that's an anthem to this day. People still say it. It's funny, they say, yo, you my op, you my ops. You know what I'm saying? They spell it OPP, and not even knowing that OPP was started with Tretch by saying other people's property. Everything's Gonna Be Alright was another big banger, was another big single. Uptown Anthem was also a huge single, especially the second best single off the Juice soundtrack. I gotta give it to Know the Ledge on that Juice soundtrack album. In 1993, Tupac released Strictly for My Niggas. In 1993, Naughty by Nature released 1993. Hip Hop Hooray was the first single off of 1993. Another big anthem. Another big anthem. Holla If You Hear Me came out 2 months after Hip Hop Hooray by Tupac. That was his first single off Strictly for My Niggas. It's On was the second single by Naughty by Nature. The second single by Tupac was I Get Around. The third single by Tupac was Keep Your Head Up. The third single by Naughty by Nature was Written on Your Kitten. The fourth single by Tupac was Papa Song. There wasn't no other singles released on Naughty by Nature's album. But Holla If You Hear Me was a good start of that album. That was a good single. But I Get Around was a big hit. Probably Tupac's first biggest hit. Definitely a classic record. A song and video that was used to give some type of image and profile to Biggie, at least according to Kirk Burroughs. Keep Your Head Up is another big hit off the album. Another classic. And Papa's Song did good, but it wasn't a big hit. I Get Around and Keep Your Head Up was the biggest hits off Strictly for My Niggas. 1993, It's On and Written on Your Kitten. Those songs were fire. Hip Hop Parade was definitely the biggest single, but It's On and Written on Your Kitten was fire. They was dope track. Oh, where my kitty cat, stroking me. And then the remix, once again, this song, like, man. In 1995, Tupac released his third album, Me Against the World. In 1995, Naughty by Nature released their third album called Poverty's Paradise. Clap Your Hands was the first single off Poverty's Paradise. Dear Mama was the first single off Me Against the World. The second single off Poverty's Paradise was Craziest. The second single off Me Against the World was So Many Tears. The third single off Me Against the World was Temptations. And the third single off Poverty's Paradise was Feel Me Flow. Feel Me Flow turned out to be the bigger hit on that album. Although Craziest and Clap Your Hands was definitely a party joint. It wasn't bigger than Feel Me Flow, but it was still, nowadays, I'm sure if you go to a Naughty by Nature concert and they do Craziest and they do Clap Your Hands, everybody knows it. But at that particular time, Clap Your Hands was definitely the joint, but Feel Me Flow was hard. That was the biggest hit off that one. And also, in 1995, Dear Mama was Tupac's biggest hit. Probably the most gigantic, out of all Tupac's records. It arguably is. So Many Tears and Temptations. Big records. Hit records. Temptations, another big record, a hit record. And then by 1996, 97, 98, Naughty by Nature didn't release their fourth album until 1999. By that time, Tupac was gone.